Thank y'all so much for doing this. Um, it's a really big help. We're trying, Congress is trying to get everything in before the end of the year. And so we're really pushing for, a new stimulus bill, a new PPP. So we're just trying to get as much stuff out as we can.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. If we want to get started, if each of y'all could just kind of introduce yourself, your business, and that's it. We can start with Bryan if you want.
Sure. Hi, I'm Bryan Gossel. We have 3 stores in northern Colorado and continuing to grow as we go.
Awesome. Andy?
Yeah, my name's Andy Fiffick. I have a chain of 10 automotive light truck and automotive repair shops here in the Cleveland, Ohio, Northeast Ohio area, and been in business 45 years.
Wow, awesome. Okay, do each of y'all want to just kind of tell me about your experience during the pandemic, how everything's been going, and the PPP, basically just if you applied, if you got a loan, and how everything went? Andy?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, we can
Sure.
start with Bryan. That works.
So the whole PPP thing definitely it's been kind of frustrating, honestly. Like, it was a lot of work and how they rolled it out. Like, there was so many, I was almost 24/7 for a week when they were rolling it out, and they kept changing the rules. Like, I had our accountant and our office controller literally working Saturday and Sunday because you didn't know that it wasn't very clear how they were rolling it out, and they kept changing the rules, like even midstream, and they still are today, it seems like.
Right.
But it was a lot of work and a lot of stress with all the information they wanted. Now they're saying they don't need all this information. It's like, holy cow. So if they could streamline it and make it a little more less government related, I don't know, just the government can mess things up pretty good. But yeah, it definitely, we applied and we used a bigger local regional bank in Colorado and Arizona, I think. And it definitely 100% pays to have a relationship with a banker, because they did kind of prioritize how they were going to allow and divvy up their funds, because they were only allocated, I don't remember how much money they were allotted. But definitely having that relationship with the banker helped a ton, and it relieved a lot of stress. And I have his personal cell number. I mean, there was times Sunday night at 11 o'clock, I was talking to him just to try to make sure everything was done the way it was supposed to be. We did get the PPP, and we did some EIDL loans. It definitely helped. I mean, with our 3 stores, we went from 1 to 3 pretty quickly. So, I mean, we're at 3 a year and a half now. And it definitely was stressful because we opened the 2 shops like a week apart of each other last February and March. And
oh, goodness.
So it added actually it's a year and a half. So we had been in just about a year when all this stuff happened. And still, it was scary. I mean, going and growing and growing our family like we did. I was definitely scared that I was going to let my team down, but I mean, we powered through it, and the PPP definitely helped relieve a lot of that stress because of all the uncertainty. Customers weren't sure, car count dropped. I know one of our stores, they were like, did like $5,000 for the week, and that's just like nothing, that really doesn't do anything, it was like 1 car a day almost. It definitely helped to just relieve the stress for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, right now we have not been forgiven yet. Our bank is building some portal, I guess, where you can go in, and they're trying to streamline the process. And that's the hurry up and wait, because they keep changing the rules. My accountant is like, I'm not even going to do anything anymore until they give us a definitive. This is like, we did so much work and wasted so much time and energy, and now it's like we don't need to do all the stuff that we did. Like, that was very frustrating. And stressful. Yeah.
Definitely. We've been hearing that a lot about the banks. Having the relationship with the bank really helps, because some people are just kind of on their own, and I know it's been really tough, the process, definitely. And they were releasing a lot of different forms, and so that is tough, but I'm glad y'all were able
Something
to
I'd
get it.
recommend, having that relationship, even with a small local regional bank. I don't like the big banks because you can kind of get lost.
Right.
But make sure the bank you're doing is an SBA approved provider, that they can do SBA, help you with an SBA loan if you're needing, because that way they already have a relationship with them, and that'll definitely help roll things easier.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Okay, Andy, do you want to kind of talk to your experience as well?
Well, I think I didn't find it hard at all to deal with our bank. We've been with our bank for over 30 years, and we have a great relationship. And our banker basically said, don't do anything until we know what they want. So all those rumors and all that innuendo that we were hearing early on, as Bryan said, we didn't need a lot of that stuff when it finally came down to getting what we wanted. And our payroll company actually helped very much too, because they ran a report for us that showed exactly what our salaries were and that for our staff. So we had a real good idea, you know, when you had to apply. But then our bank that we're with did a great job of running out a portal that then we dropped all our information right into. And I remember I did 3 of the 10 in about 45 minutes on a Sunday night, about midnight, when the portal opened up for the bank. So it went very easy with our banker to get that done. And I got to tell you, it was a godsend also listening to Mr. Redding's reports almost on a daily basis through ASA, going, here's what's going on, here's what's happening, here's what you got, you know. So ASA and Mr. Redding being able to do that for us really, really helped us out. It took all the guesswork out of, are we in this alone? You know, what's all these rumors all about? Is it going to be this way, that way? So that really settled it in for us. As far as applying for forgiveness, 1 out of 10 I've gotten the invitation for through the banks to be able to do the paperwork and forgive it. It was so darn simple, because when they allocated you to be able to use 24 weeks of payroll, we had way more payroll in 24 weeks than the money we received. So that was really the only criteria we had to meet. I did that online in about 5 minutes, uploaded a report from my payroll company. About a week later, I got the information that it was approved with a DocuSign email that I signed it, and the one was forgiven in literally less than 10 minutes worth of work. But I was ready. I had my payroll company run the report for the 24 weeks of payroll right after we received the money, so we knew exactly what we spent. And SBA likes that because it's a third party verifying, yeah, they spent this money. As far as the money being used and what we used it for, we used ours for all payroll pretty much. When this all started, I vowed to my teams that I was not going to lay anybody off.
That's great.
That was in the beginning, before we realized how long this thing was going to go on. So I was taking it on the chin, guaranteeing all my guys at least 40 hours a week. And it got pretty bad there in the middle. I'd say April and May, where we were only at about 50%. So I had guys cleaning, painting. You know, we took equipment apart and rebuilt it. The shop has never looked any better, all of them. I mean, we painted everything, cleaned everything. We even took the alignment rack and stripped it down and rebuilt it, put it back together. So my staff has never missed a $1 payroll the whole time. I vowed to do that before I even knew I was going to get PPP money. But I can tell you 3 of our 10 locations probably would not be open today if we didn't have PPP money. Namely, my downtown Cleveland location. When the governor shut down all the offices downtown and all the work downtown, we had no clients. I mean, the only clients we have is somebody that drives into town to work for the day. We do their service and they drive home that night. So that store, I could guarantee you right now, would not be open today if we didn't have PPP funds. A few of my other stores are the same way. 2 others I don't think would have made it just because the business got so bad. And then it got better. And then, as we know, just in the last 3 weeks, everything's getting shut down again. And I just had an alert this morning that our governor is going to extend the curfews through January 2nd now, where all bars and restaurants got to close by 10 o'clock. So, most people realize after 10 o'clock, I think, is when most bars make their money. If the bartenders and the waitresses and the cooks and the cleaners and that whole industry aren't getting paychecks, they're surely not coming to us to get their car fixed. So it's a trickle down effect. I think another round of stimulus done better and smarter, like Bryan says, I think they learned their lessons. I would hope it would go much smoother. I would like to see the people that really, really got, we're considered an essential business. We're able to stay open the whole time. So we're turning some dollars, but these poor guys with the restaurants and the bars and, they've been shut down so long. One little dose of PPP back last April lasted in 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks at best. Now they're really hurting. So I think the program needs to be slightly adjusted, that if your local governor or government says you cannot work, well, then I think the PPP needs to step in and adjust for that and say, hey, you've been out of work for 6 straight months. Let's cover your payroll. Let's cover your rent and your utilities for that 6 months, so that when you are allowed to reopen, at least you're healthy. You're somewhat healthy. You're never going to be really healthy, but at least if you could still be in the game at the end of the road, I think that's something they need to consider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is definitely something that I think so too, with the bars and restaurants. They've been struggling so much. But Bryan, do you agree that, would you guys get another PPP loan if you could, or maybe not?
It depends, like right now, because just like Andy's saying, when the bars and restaurants, and they should get it first.
Right.
They're not, like, if you're like, yes, we've been blessed to be an essential business and at least be able to stay open and try and do something. And, thank God that when one of my stores was like doing nothing, the other two were, and then they kind of flip-flopped a little bit. So I was able to just roll money around and make stuff happen. But yeah, holy cow, the bars and restaurants, my heart's breaking for these guys. You go and we have some of our favorite local restaurants, and like right before, because we are shut down to dining. You can only do takeout and carry out right now at the restaurants. And man, like our favorite Mexican restaurant, we talking to the family, and the mom's like, we barely made it through the first time. And she goes, we haven't recovered, because they were only at 50% capacity. And now they've been shut down for 2 weeks, I think. And it's just heartbreaking to see. And we've slowed down again. Not drastically, but it definitely has taken a little bit of a hit when they are not able to work. People aren't, it's just crazy, the dynamic of how the world's changed. They should get it first, as Andy said. I 100% agree with the people that are shut down should get it last month. Quit screwing around and take care of our people. And
well, that note, it's a political football. They've been playing with this thing before the election, just because they didn't want to give Trump a win. The political side of this should be so set aside, and it's for the people, not to get somebody elected or not elected or look good or bad on one side of the aisle. That's probably the most thing that ticked us off there. And they had 2 or 3 deals along the way, and they just couldn't get it over the goal line. So.
Right.
And that's so frustrating. I'm biting my tongue so hard and things I would love to say, but it's like, oh man, like they're throwing in all these extra, what is this, the stimulus package they're trying to do? Correct me if I'm, is it 300 billion or something?
900 and
900 billion.
Yeah, only 300 goes to the SBA though.
That's what it was. Okay,
right,
300 goes to the SBA, which that is a bunch of BS crockish. They shouldn't. What are they? They don't need to worry about all the extra. We need to do an environmental study on butterflies. That's not important right now. Whatever they're trying to spend that money, forget about that stuff. Let's fix our country. We're in a total different the political stuff needs to get put aside. We need to take care of each other. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. So just in closing, to wrap this up, I'll do a little plug. We're going to release this and then with a link also to our letter writing campaign for everyone to be able to send a letter on behalf of ASA in support of the stimulus. We're really hoping that it will get through hopefully next week before that they adjourn for the holidays with a new round of PPP. They did conduct a hearing yesterday that they kind of went over all these changes that you guys are talking about. So hopefully it will be better. And thank you guys so much for talking with me today. You were awesome.
No problem, Manny.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye.